Testing. Well, actually, my little daughter Ella's here making a lot of noise, which is so appropriate because I'm actually using a Firefly form generator, which I can't really take credit for. These scripts are all over online. Some people have done them better than others, but it's I'm getting into my favorite script series here. It's just things I like. So at any point, I could come in here and grab a bake. Oops. I grab a bake on this, and let's say we want to jump in here and say that's the hissing form nice that I like. And there you go. You got a little tiny hissed form that you might want to take in the Rhino, bake that in. And I just love it. So let's jump in here and see how the script works. It's not too hard to figure out. You definitely have to download Firefly, and in doing so, you're going to find it's one of these F's. Oh, could be Fologram, could be Firefly. Oh, where is it? It's one of these ones. Let me just go on this node and hit. There we go. Popped in there, and there it is. Oh, it's a little bug icon. That's nice. So basically, I go into a sound capture. There's lots in here with sound and audio and visual vision tools, so you can do a lot with that. But basically, you've got to be very careful with this and bringing in your interval time slot has to match. So if it's 50 milliseconds, then you're going to have to set your slider to its time period to 0.5. And you're going to want to pair that up, and you're also going to want your start stop toggle on here. So once you get this one set up with those simple devices, parameter slider, a Boolean toggle, and a timer, which you don't really have an input. You actually just the timer's kind of interesting that if you copied it, you can see it can input anywhere just by dragging in this dotted line. And then you're going to need a data recorder, which is going to feed you data. And if anything, you followed me online, is I love data. And once I see data, I'm like, what can we do with it? So here's the data as it changes, and here's your data recorder saying, let's keep track of all that stuff. In doing so, I amplified it by a very, very small number. I don't even think it was I basically had to bring it down because it was getting too big. My voice is too loud, so I make these two biggest spheres, and I wanted to control the diameter of those spheres. So I was starting to move them in a direction. I didn't even end up using the move and the reverse angle to that move, but sometimes in my scripts I leave things hanging around. I put it into I actually made a series go into a series of polygons for one work and rectangles for another. And I think if these are just past scripts, that this one really is just playing into the amplification of the, you can bypass all this top stuff because it's not really doing anything for this script because it's not plugged in, but it's there for you to play around with and have some fun with. Maybe I have some time at the end to plug it in, but I've got my pi, then amplified by pi, and I'm bringing that in as an angle rotation on what I want to do to those geometries. Grab the faces of them, find a list length to them, and make those the base geometries that actually have that radius that runs through it. Not as a series or range, but pretty simple. And I put them on all three planes. I put them on the XYZ plane all at the same time. So it's a pretty simple script to play with. Let's see what the geometry does different if I just, let's say, enable this one and take our Z unit and plug our geometry into here from this. And I really don't know what's going to happen. There you go. It's dancing in a totally different way, and things are jostling in and out and having a party, and I'm not really sure what I was thinking when I did that. And here's a little rectangle if I did that, and it just sends it back here a little bit. So that one I'd have to get back into. It was months ago I made this. I can't even remember, but I think I'll just keep it as what I had over here. I'll just plug back in the rectangle into the geometry here, which is what I was using. I'll put that back on lock. So I guess I could grab that one and plug that in and see what difference happens. But anyway, nice little project. There is a series running through it. You can change your count to what you have. I think that's related. Let me just take that count down. No, I'm just changing the size and scale of the range of those rectangles that are being generated. So that's what you do. You sit here and you decide, okay, I can definitely change I can make more squared up geometry. There's no reason to have this slider under 3 because we're talking about the amount of sides of a mesh sphere. So I'm going to need 3 minimum. But there you go. You see I have it set back at 3, so I get these jumbly shapes. And let's just go into another bake and bake it in another color and give it a good name, like Michael Wickerson. There you go. Get the Michael Wickerson square. So what a wonderful way to make some geometries that you might never have originally thought to generate in definitely in Rhino, and really beautiful shapes at that. And that's because of my name. So you start having, the complexities. What I say with this parametric modeling is there is no beginning and there is no end to the power of the mathematics that you're using and the algorithms. The applications can go to furniture, to jewelry, to automotion, to whatever you want as data visualization. And I just think as a developer that I'm slowly moving into having interest in. It's been 3 months hard of going hard in Grasshopper and Rhino. I do want to be a computational designer, represent myself that way for development into all different arrays. And if you wonder what they might be, go on to the Food for Rhino um, and see where your interest might lie. And this is very inspiring to go here. And I'm just going on another screen. I'm going to drag it in here in a second. But bring this in. Go down to your apps. Take a look here. See what you're interested in. Like if you're into architecture, definitely you can see the 413 of these plugins have been tied to that. But there's a series of jewelry here, which I'm taking an interest in. There's furniture design. I think there's furniture, but maybe there's nothing specific to that. But you can look at anything for that. But jewelry design, all these different plugins that have been made to get at jewelry. And once you end up understanding your scripts are valuable, they are really wonderful. You can put them in the snippets. You can make your own. Start doing some development as a computational designer. Don't just take these and keep making them from scratch to have this one-off. Think of the applications that other people can be made, and I think you really are a back-end developer when you start developing this. And certainly, if you're influencing surfaces, solids by surfaces, and surfaces by curves, and curves by points, and points by point attributes, you're finding yourself into a very well-respected, I think, profession, and for a large part, delightful if you're into it. And I wish you well, and thanks for